So, willkommen zurück, Sterbliche. Und wir gehen auch gleich los oder fahren gleich zu Cazanoux, Residenz. So, bevor wir klopfen, machen wir noch unsere Verkleidung perfekt und ziehen uns schnell das Gewand an.
Alright, but this is private.
Und natürlich noch was für die Haare. Dafür haben wir das Haargel mitgenommen.
The things I do for my art.
Oh Gott, sieht ja richtig schleimig aus. Okay, dann lass uns mal klopfen.
Yes. Who is it?
Ich bin der Neue.
It's Father McLaughlin to see you.
Father McLaughlin, you say? You must be new in the parish. I'm so pleased to meet you, Father. Do come in.
Thank you, my child.
Ich verstehe mal Vater statt Father.
Please be seated, Father.
Vater.
Thank you.
Now, what can I do for you?
Du kannst mir ein paar Geschichten erzählen.
Do you mind if I ask you a few questions, my child?
Of course not, mon père.
Ich bin auch der neugierige Priester. Ach du Scheiße. Schicke Frisur.
What can you tell me about voodoo?
People think I'm just a foolish old woman, but I know the things they do. My family's been in New Orleans since 1750, so I know more than most. Voodoo people are all over this city, in the shops, everywhere. They'll curse you like that, and most people don't even notice. Spit on your bread at the bakery. Take strands of your hair at the store when you try on the clothes. You have to be so careful. But I know their ways, so I can protect myself. I know how to use the magic too, and I can counteract their evil spells.
Also entweder ist sie leicht verrückt, eigen, oder sie weiß, wovon sie redet. Schwierig zu sagen bei so einer alten Frau.
What do you know about the voodoo murders?
Voodoo murders? Ha! They are nothing new to me, Father. They happen all the time. I hardly go out anymore. It's too dangerous in the streets. They can get you anywhere, you know. Even here in this room. But I try not to let them know about me. That's the best way.
Es macht mir langsam Sorgen, dass auch sie davon redet, dass es ein Sie gibt, also etwas Größeres in dieser Stadt. So wie Crash schon. Die Frage ist, ob sie rumspinnt, wie gesagt, wie Crash vielleicht auch. Und ob da was Wahres dran ist.
What do you know about the voodoo murders?
Shh. They'll hear you.
Okay.
What can you tell me about New Orleans?
The only true New Orleanians are of French origin, you know. My family were among the original settlers of New Orleans. They came here from France. The Creole society used to be so gay in New Orleans. Now it barely hangs on by its fingernails.
Okay.
Do you know anything about snakes?
Snakes! They're evil creatures. Did you know that evil people can send them into your dreams? They can. That's why I never sleep.
Right, thanks. What can you tell me about St. John's Eve?
St. John's Eve? Mais oui! I used to love the St. John's Eve Mass at Saint-Louis Cathedral. Of course, it is also a night of great wickedness, worse than All Hallows Eve. They will corrupt anything, Father.
They? They who?
Oh, you know.
Nee, wer sind denn die?
What can you tell me about St. John's Eve?
I don't think I should say any more about that.
Do you have any idea what Cabri sans corps means?
Mais oui,
Oh.
I know. I bet you do not, Father, n'est-ce pas?
Nee, weiß ich nicht.
No, I don't.
Just as I thought. You shouldn't talk about things you don't understand.
Mist. Sie weiß es, aber sie sagt es mir nicht.
Do you know anything about Marie Laveau?
Oh, her? I could tell you about her. Voodoo Queen. Ah, My great-grandmother was an acolyte of Marie Laveau. She knew the truth about her.
Und die war?
Tell me more about Marie Laveau.
No, I won't say anything more. Not to you, father. I'm sure you mean well, but you are an outsider.
Mist.
Do you know anything about animal masks?
No, father. I don't know anything about that.
Have you ever heard of a Schattenjäger?
No, father. I don't know anything about that.
Tell me about yourself.
Me? I am Creole. My family has been in New Orleans for over 200 years. Real New Orleanians are French, you see. These days the city is overrun with people with no heritage at all. No offense, father, but it's true. But the French, naturellement, will always be the true blood of New Orleans.
Leicht rassistisch. Ich befürchte, wir kriegen im Moment nicht mehr raus, ohne vorher ein bisschen Arbeit getan zu haben. Also gehen wir erstmal wieder. Mist. Ja, dann steh auf.
Well, madame, I must be going.
Of course, father. I know how busy you must be tending your flock.
Total.
I'm not going back on the street looking like this.
Siehst du auch nicht viel besser aus mit dem hässlichen Mantel. Okay, lass uns mal zum Laden gehen und ihm das scheiß Krokodil abkaufen. Jetzt haben wir die schönen $100, die wir ehrlich verdient haben.
Hi.
Reicht es ihm, wenn ich ihm das Geld in die Hand drücke, oder muss ich ihn jetzt da fragen? Mal gucken.
I have $100. You still want to sell that crocodile mask?
That's $100, sure enough. The mask, it's yours, sir.
Schön. Wofür wir auch immer brauchen können, egal. Erstmal kaufen und dann verwenden.
Here you go. Careful it don't bite you now.
Yeah, thanks.
Don't you go forgetting your lagniappe. A free bottle of Master Gambling Oil.
The sign said I could get Lady Luck oil instead.
Well, I wasn't thinking a man as young as you would be needing that kind of remedying. But if you're having problems with your...
Oh, that's all right. Believe me, I don't need it. I'll just stick with this. Thanks, anyway.
Of course, it ain't none of my business if you do need it.
I don't need it.
Of course you don't.
Außerdem brauchst du kein Frauenelixier, Gabriel. Die Frauen fliegen dir doch zu. So, was haben wir jetzt gewonnen? Das Meisterspieleröl. Auf dem Etikett steht Meisterspieleröl, aber keine Ingredienzien oder keine Waren- oder Gebrauchshinweise. Zu Risiken und Nebenwirkungen fragen Sie einen örtlichen Voodoo-Doktor oder die Voodooienne des Bezirks. Okay. Das ist alles hier. Jetzt gehen wir mal ins Napoleonhaus. Da haben wir noch gar nicht. Ganz neue Lokation für uns jetzt erstmal. Wieder so ein Trommler. Okay, wer könnte was wissen? Natürlich der Barkeeper.
Could I ask you a few questions?
Sure. I'm not too busy at the moment.
What can you tell me about voodoo?
Voodoo? I don't believe in it myself. I invented a drink once called Laveau's Tomb, but it wasn't very popular. Some people do believe, though. Even some of our regulars here at Napoleon House.
Aha, wer denn?
What do you know about the voodoo
Fragen wir später
murders?
It's all over the papers. Some kind of serial killings.
What can you tell me about New Orleans?
Greatest city in the world. I'd never want to live anywhere else.
Sehr gesprächig.
Do you know anything about snakes?
What about them?
Oh, just anything.
Man, you ask the weirdest questions. I don't know anything about snakes.
What's the significance of St. John's Eve?
All I know is it's some kind of voodoo holiday.
Does the phrase "Gabrieel sans cœur" mean anything to you?
You know what goes in it?
I don't think it's a drink.
Oh, then I probably don't know anything about it.
Have you ever heard of Marie Laveau?
Sure. She's kind of the patron saint of voodoo in New Orleans. Don't know too much about her, but tourists sure get off on all that stuff.
Do you know anything about animal masks?
Come Mardi Gras, you see all kinds of masks in here.
Die meinte ich eigentlich nicht.
Have you ever heard of a Schottenjäger?
Never heard of it.
Tell me about yourself.
A good bartender listens to other people's life stories without telling his own.
Wie wahr, wie wahr.
What can you tell me about your regulars in here?
This crowd, the ones you see, are mostly regulars. That guy and girl in the corner come here a lot. When they're not fighting, they're all over each other. In other words, they're in love.
What can you tell me about your regulars in here?
See those old guys at the chess table? That's Sam and Marcus. They played every day for 20 years. Sam, the one with the purple jacket, he's lost every one of those games. It's not that he's a bad player. I've seen him beat guys twice as good as Marcus. But Marcus has Sam so psyched out, he loses his nerve every time. By the way, Sam, the chess player, he's into that voodoo stuff.
Ah,
He's always talking about spells and gree-gree and stuff.
Really? Thanks.
gut zu wissen.
So what has Sam told you about voodoo?
Well, about 50 years ago, Sam was too shy to talk to this pretty girl he was in love with. He went to a voodooine and had her make him a love charm. It was a little pouch that he had to bury under the girl's front porch. Well, he buried the pouch, and the next day, he went up and talked to the girl, and, sure enough, she didn't reject him. Now she's his wife. Poor guy.
Hat's ja gelohnt, ey.
So what has Sam told you about voodoo?
That's about all I can remember.
Okay.
Tell me about the street musicians around here.
I like music as much as the next guy, but they get pretty monotonous sometimes, you know? Like that drummer right outside. They say there's been a drummer outside Napoleon House since the day it opened. I like drums, but this character really gets on my nerves. It sounds like the same thing over and over. I just want to say, enough already.
Sounds like my life.
Komisch.
Tell me about the street musicians around here.
Don't know what else I could say.
Na gut. Danke, warst aber eine große Hilfe. So, der mit der lila Jacke ist also einer, der an Voodoo-Zeug glaubt. Ich hab doch das Spieleröl. Was ist, wenn wir ihm das geben? Vielleicht gewinnt er ja dann endlich mal. Ich brauch's ja nicht.
Got a second, Sam? It's about your game.
I don't have a game. That's my problem. Don't you touch those chess pieces while I'm gone, you bastard.
I ain't never needed a cheat yet, you loser.
Ach, wie süß, wie sich alte Menschen nett behandeln.
Thought you might be interested in this gambling oil.
Let me see that. That's the gambling oil. What's it for?
Ein mächtiges Voodoo-Öl.
This is a powerful voodoo oil.
Ah, go on. Really?
Ja.
Don't you ever wonder why Marcus wins every time?
Marcus? Using voodoo? That old bastard.
Pitiful, isn't it?
Let me see that bottle. Oh, this looks authentic.
Oh, it is.
If I could really beat that bastard. Stonewall, give me a Pim's cup, would you?
Coming up, Sam.
How much you think I'd have put in here?
Careful, you don't want to overdo it. Too much luck can be dangerous.
There's no such thing as too much. Now stand back.
Come on already. I'm ready to checkmate.
We'll see about that, Mr. Schmuddy Big Mouth.
Wäre gespannt.
Checkmate! Checkmate, you bastard!
Son of a bitch.
20 years I've been waiting to say that. Checkmate, checkmate, checkmate!
You are the biggest butthead Sam Singleton that I ever met.
Checkmate!
You Aaron, you split this chessboard where the sun don't shine.
Super, Gabriel, hast du 50-jährige Freundschaft auseinandergetrieben.
Hallelujah, I did it! Yippee!
Alles nur für das Buch.
Nice game.
Nice game. Hell, I was brilliant! Of course, I gotta give some of the credit to that oil of yours. I've been losing to that guy for 20 years. If you ever need a favor, you come to Sam, you hear?
Will do.
Alles klar. Einen Gefallen haben wir noch nicht, aber das kommt noch. Super. Dann lass uns mal jetzt zu... ich muss gerade überlegen. Ah ja, die Tulane-Universität hat ja ein Seminar zum Voodoo. Das ist doch interessant. Lass gleich mal hindüsen. Vorlesung abgrabbeln. Ah, geht schon los. Psst. Offensichtlich beginnt gerade eine Vorlesung. Gabriel beschließt daran teilzunehmen.
Voodoo is the tribal religion of Africa, but the name Voodoo is actually a banner heading under which resides an entire body of distinct tribal belief systems. The word voodoo may sound familiar to you. What is known in the States as voodoo is actually an amalgamation of African religious systems, voodoo, and European religions, primarily Catholicism. All of the subcults of African voodoo have certain things in common. The most important is the worship of a pantheon of spirits instead of the single deity that the Christian and Muslim systems have. Some of these spirits are elementals. Some relate to specific tasks or places. Some represent important tribal leaders who have died. This spirit worship is what makes voodoo so easily adaptable. With all those spirits, it's no problem to add a few more. Say, for example, the Virgin Mary. At the height of tribal Africa, warfare was common. One tribe would conquer another, and the Loa, important in the conqueror's tribal system, would be adopted readily into the conquered tribe's Loa pantheon. In this way, many of the voodoo cults spread and mingled throughout tribal Africa, enriching the belief system and causing innumerable offshoots. The basis for the voodoo religion seems to be as old as man himself. It has much in common with many early pagan practices: animal totems, sympathetic magic, elemental spirits in the trees, the heavens, the bodies of the sick. Africa is believed by many to be the cradle of the human race. Some of the voodoo Loa may be as old as the Garden of Eden itself. We still can't explain some of the real power of these primal religions. And note, I said primal, not primitive. There are African Bokors who baffle our scientists with their supernatural powers. Now, let's discuss the elements of voodoo.
Fascinating guy.
In voodoo, the spirits are called the Loa. During a voodoo ceremony, celebrants are possessed by the Loa. This is called being ridden. The human worshipper is seen as a horse, and the Loa as the divine horseman. A person being ridden by a Loa takes on the characteristics of that spirit and becomes, in effect, merely a vessel for the more powerful entity. Some of the older original Africa Loa include Dambala, the great serpent god, Ezrule, the mistress of love, Papa Nebo, or Gede, the lord of death, Agwe, the spirit of water, Legba, spirit of the crossroads, and the cruelest and most dangerous, Ogun Badagri, the lord of destruction.
Ugh. Oh, I gotta get more sleep at night.
A tribe-specific Loa can have as much or more power as the more widely worshipped Loa. For instance, a particular tribe might revere highly the Loa of an ancestor who was a legendary hunter or politician. Voodoo temples are called houndfors. Their priests, Hungan or Bokors. Their priestesses, Mama Loa. In a voodoo houndfor, there's a ritual circle marked by a center pole called a poto-bitan. The ritual circle is prepared with a bebe, a pattern of symbols. Each tribe's bebe is slightly different, consisting of complex symbols that identify their special loa. During ritual conclaves, initiates dance under the supervision of a bokor and a mamaloa, or head priestess. The use of totems or animal masks and markings was not uncommon in the original African ceremonies. Now, though, all but the oldest sects have abandoned this practice. Ritual objects used during the conclaves include the ritual gourd or asson, the ritual knife or kubasa,
That knife gives me the chills.
the ritual whip or fouet cash,
Ah, Red Cash.
and the ritual coffin or seke madule.
Das ist vielleicht die Red Cash
These
gewesen.
items are
Peitschen.
often optional, called for by the mamaloa for specific magical rituals. The mamaloa is the most powerful figure in any Voodoo sect. Voodoo is a truly matriarchal system. Even the bokor knows his power is limited. Mamaloa is the supreme woman. She butterflies, fireflies.
Firelight. No, what is it? Gabriel?
What? I can't see.
Gabriel! Get in!
Can't. It's too small for me.
You must get in, Gabriel.
It's not mine. Too small.
Hide, Gabriel! Hide!
No! No! Let me out! Help!
Young man, the lecture is over.
Oh my God. Sorry.
Puh, gruselig. Das war doch mal eine interessante Geschichtsstunde, fand ich wirklich jetzt mal. Und die Musik in der Universität ist auch super. Also, Menge Zeug gelernt, Menge Begriffe gelernt, die ihr euch auch merken solltet, wenn ihr das Spiel selbst spielen wollt. Ein paar Dinge sind sehr wichtig gewesen, was er gerade gesagt hat. Und jetzt besuchen wir mal den Prof selber.